just like Shrek. And we're back. We got a TvZ on our hands here. Our first qualifying match of the evening, at least on this channel. It is, of course, going to be DRG versus ByuN. Now we're jumping right on in.
Yeah, we're just diving into game number 1 here. As you mentioned, the first of many qualifying matches. We're here to determine who makes it, who gets that spot, that plane ticket to IEM Katowice.
Here we are, and we're going to start it off here on Oceanborn, where we're here in the top left-hand corner map, swinging all the way. In the top left-hand corner, we of course have our red Zerg player coming out from the land of Korea. Currently teamless, but still giving a little bit of love over to Clan NV. Still though, if there are any team owners, do consider picking him up. We have our one true dong, we have DRG.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Terran player representing Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN.
The one holdout, the one player who still to this day in TvZ does the ByuN build. Double racks in the low ground.
Let's go. To be fair, Cure, he's fond of it as well, but Cure does it a little bit differently. We'll get there if we ever cast him, but like he's kind of added his own like kind of unique flair to it, his own kind of flavor to the ByuN opener.
Yeah. It's more of the ByuN Cure opener. He doesn't use bunkers though, so that doesn't. Yeah, so that.
There you go.
We'll figure out a name for it eventually.
Yeah, exactly. As we do see ByuN going for that 2x, as you were bringing up, this is going to be for Reapers, and as we've said many times, as we've casted this many times, the goal here is to get up to 3 Reaper production. If your opponent tries to sneak out a faster third, then ByuN can look to punish it and deny it. Otherwise, his goal is to try to contain you to 2 bases and transition out of this. Oh, never mind.
Oh. As the third Rax finishes up here, yep. We know exactly what he's going for now.
Yeah, so we're doubling down. It is not just a 2-rax opener, it's going to be a 3-rax variation. That is Mass Reaper, by the way, which means we're going to be that much more aggressive. The goal is still to contain to 2 bases, but we can do so much more. We can pick off drones, pick off queens. We can snowball out of control if DRG isn't too careful.
Hey, when was the last time you saw ByuN go for 3-rax Reapers? It's the exact same build that got Reapers nerfed back in the day.
Oh yeah, in the hands of ByuN, it's insane. And here we go, we're diving on in. We do get 1 drone.
Pretty good pickoff, but that is definitely not where ByuN wants to end it.
Exactly, as the additional Reapers are on the way. We should be expanding. There it is. There's the 3rd CC on the way. So this is not all in by any means. This is going to eventually transition into an expansion, into Stim, into Combat Shield, into a Bio Army. But for now, the Reapers are doing what they can to contain their opponent. As I mentioned before, DRG still only on 2 bases. He doesn't have the freedom, the luxury to expand and take a 3rd.
Nice little juggling trick here from ByuN, just sending 1 Reaper into the high ground to get vision.
Wow.
And then just slowly but surely started to pick off a couple of Lings. I got really worried there for a second with that red Reaper. A couple more Reapers in the red, but they will survive. This is ByuN we're talking about. If anyone knows how to micro Reapers, it's going to be ByuN.
Yeah, and so far he's kept everything alive. Link speed has finished up, so ByuN has to be that much more careful. He's yet to determine. There we go, link speed has been revealed. And from here, ByuN should be looking to evacuate and get the hell out of there because he doesn't want to lose these Reapers for free. He doesn't want to get surrounded. He is playing with fire right now.
He has, and I just want to point out, ByuN got an eBay before factory.
Oh, let's go. It's a sign, as we're going to be working...
+1 Reapers?
We're going to be working towards +1. Yes, we're already working on a bio transition. There we go. Reactors are on the way. Stim as well, to kind of get into that kind of bio-oriented composition. The Reapers, they come back in. Can they pick up a queen?
They're going to try. DRG playing a very risky game with these queens off of creep, but thankfully there were a couple of tumors finishing up before, behind that, so he is going to be able to maneuver his queens a little bit better. These queens are so exposed. I know you can tell that ByuN wants to pick them off, but he has to be careful. These Reapers are his only map presence. If he loses them, there's nothing stopping DRG from just going immediately across the map, whilst ByuN hasn't quite been able to get his defenses up and running.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a very delicate dance here. And ByuN, he respects DRG. He was posturing, yes, but ByuN, he just gets the hell out of there. He's racing back home. Behind this, DRG is finally getting his third base up and running. Because it's so late, we have seen some Zerg players double expand just to try to catch back up. Again, the economy from DRG has been stifled just because of how aggressive ByuN has been.
Very, very aggressive. Sim is about to finish up pretty soon, but yeah, at this point, I guess ByuN just does want to wait for a couple of medevacs as well. He doesn't want to just send his Marines across the map willy-nilly.
Yeah, bearing in mind what you just mentioned is that we do have an add-on swap and we delayed the third CC. We went for a faster starport instead of the third CC, so this is going to be a very aggressive timing out of ByuN, and he has kept every unit alive so far. He has lost 0 units so far this game, and when we do move out, these Reapers, they can do surprisingly well to support the ByuN army.
Yeah, never underestimate the power of the KD8 charges. It can knock a couple of Lings out of position, knock a couple of Queens so they aren't really able to support anything. Just, you know, that little bit of AoE can really mess things up. You can prevent the Lings from getting a full surround, yeah.
Definitely.
Reapers can be very valuable.
They can, and here we go. Here comes the push. Medevacs are going to be boosting across the map. We do already poke in forward, getting a couple of Lings here almost for free. ByuN is going to be pivoting away from this, rotating around, looking to clear up some creep and hopefully find a better engage, as DRG has been droning, but he's cutting workers at 55. He's focusing on Ling main.
Yeah, which is definitely the right call, given how aggressive ByuN is being right now.
Definitely, as tumors are going down, you can see that ByuN, he isn't committing yet. He's just picking whatever tumors he can. He's stimming on forward, hopefully looking to get a queen.
Not quite able to, but this multi-prong does allow ByuN to really just clean up a whole ton of creep. A couple of queens coming forward, not too exposed at this point. Bailing speed is still a ways off, so DRG needs to be very, very careful. Slow Banes already, they're tricky to use. Slow Banes with the threat of KD8 charges, yeah, you don't want to be throwing them away.
Definitely, and DRG has to be careful as well because there's still no third, by the way. This is looking like a 2-base all-in out of ByuN. The longer this game goes on without a third CC, the more and more committed ByuN becomes, as he does catch a couple of Bailings.
Oh, questionable move out here from
Yeah.
DRG, but yeah, really good pick off here for ByuN. There's still a couple of Banelings in that main base, but yeah, that many fewer Banelings at this point, with tank support, with a couple of Liberators on the way for ByuN as well. I'm having trouble envisioning how DRG really defends against this.
Yeah, I mean, it's an all-in. It's a 2-base all-in here out of ByuN, and you need every single unit to defend. DRG is looking for surround, but he just did bleed out a lot of Banelings. He has to wait for the opportune moment. He's waiting for another wave. Oh, he's supply blocked.
Yeah, not quite able to get that second wave that he really, really needs. Bailing's speed did finish up, so that can definitely help a lot, but there are 2 tanks here on the low ground. ByuN is very well spread out, and 0 Lings to really buffer for those Banes. They do just get picked off immediately. DRG now going for a surround, but ByuN is already wise to it.
Yeah, he's already wise. He does pull back. Liberators have arrived, and DRG is being choked out. Queens is starting to go down. We have to pull the trigger. We still have 5 more Bailings on the way. DRG, he's got to go for it. He does get +1 carapace denied.
Yeah, +1 melee will help, but without +1 carapace, it's really hard to actually connect with this army. Very hot pickup from ByuN. Will keep most of his Marines alive, but now he is on the back foot. DRG is unchained. He has broken out from that defense, and he's survived.
He survived, and ByuN now throws down a third CC. A very late third. This was an all-in out of ByuN, and as you mentioned, at least he keeps all these Marines alive. That was a lot of bio units that he was able to save, and he has to be active. He has to try to trade as best he can and try to allow himself to actually be able to expand and get into a longer game.
Yeah, he absolutely does. 2 Reapers still alive, by the way. They're in the medevacs, so...
Yeah? Well, there they are. Up.
Yeah. There we go.
The Reapers are still alive, but DRG's kind of made it through the worst of it. He's made it through the storm, and now it's going to be a little bit easier going from here. We do have another push out from ByuN. They're going for a split push here. We'll see if DRG can keep up. We'll see if he can keep up with the multi-pronged aggression here of ByuN.
Yeah, DRG has survived the worst of it, but ByuN still has a very terrifying army. He still has a massive army, and he has all of this mobility to go for multi-prongs. A lot of creep got cleared up earlier as well, so DRG is still in a very precarious position.
Yeah, the tanks are getting in position once again, looking to try and deny those upgrades here. If we do have vision, we're trying to come in for a surround, but DRG does get caught out.
Yeah, these tanks are too well fortified, and there are enough Marines to really buffer for them. Beautiful target firing coming out from ByuN, taking out almost every single Baneling before they can connect, and yeah, the rest of them aren't really able to get big value either. ByuN, once again, has the massive advantage. He is pushing on forward in the main base and in the fourth base actually over there on the right-hand side.
Yeah, like that tank target find was insane, by the way. He killed so many Banelings almost for free, essentially. Really good trades out of ByuN. And just like that, before the fight happened, DRG was up like 20 supply. Now he's almost even in supply. ByuN, he's looking to snowball out of control. DRG trying to catch some of these tanks, though.
Oh. Yeah, thankfully for ByuN, though, he did have a lot of Marines nearby, so yeah, DRG unfortunately not quite able to catch those tanks. Couple of pickups here on the Banelings. Stim just a second too late, so yeah, that was a decent connection there for DRG, I'd say.
That's like his first decent connection almost all game. Like we needed something to go his way, as once again we're just getting in position, once again threatening these Evo chambers, +2 melee on the way. DRG though looking to come in from behind, looking to try to collapse on this army, this time with Hydras.
They're going to be very, very, very valuable to deal not only with the Liberators, but also to try to cut some of the mobility here of these medevacs. One medevac goes down with a couple of Marines in them, so yeah, ByuN, with how behind he is, he really cannot afford to make mistakes like that.
Yeah, exactly. Once again, big tank shots off on those Banelings. Meanwhile, back at home, we do have a couple of Banelings left over to defend. We do have good enough connections, and ByuN will not break through. He's been trying desperately to pull apart DRG, and DRG, he's barely keeping up.
Just like that, DRG evens out the army supply. Still pretty far ahead when it comes to the worker supply, and ByuN is saturating that third base, but there's no fourth on the horizon. 2-2 only now began researching here for ByuN. So the longer this game goes on, the better it's going to be for DRG.
It also goes how important it was that ByuN did kill an Evo chamber earlier. Otherwise, 2-2 would be finished for DRG. You know, his upgrades are a little bit lopsided just because of that. But ByuN, he still has a pretty terrifying army. His army supply is actually higher than that of DRG. He is moving out. And as you brought up earlier, it's still the case. Barely any creep. Very little creep here in between these bases of DRG.
Yeah, that is terrifying. If you have a ground army, cancel, not a kill. Thankfully there for DRG, but that's a lot of free Banelings here for ByuN.
And once again, ByuN just making sure he's able to abuse this position. This is now the third time that he's going to be sieging up here outside the natural. No, ByuN is not looking!
Wasn't looking, just loses a force there immediately. Very good pick off here for Ragnarok. Only has to worry about one position right now, but this is still a terrifying army.
It really is, but here we go. We're collapsing on this. Tank shots once again going to be going off on the Banelings, but there's only 2 tanks, and we will clean this up.
Just like so. Marines are doing whatever they can. Again, just trading really, really well against the Lings and against the Banelings. What about the Hydras, Poppy?
Yeah, what about those Hydras? As the Hydra count is getting higher. Meanwhile, that is a second factory, soon to be more additional gases. It looks like ByuN, he's thinking about getting a 4th base. Doesn't have one yet, but he is working in that direction. Still being hyper aggressive with this drop play, as DRG is finally going to be expanding on the right-hand side instead. His creep is still lacking, but DRG, he has a little bit of time here to kind of stabilize, to settle down.
Indeed, he does. I think at this point, ByuN actually just wants to float the main over to a 4th base location.
Yeah, there you go.
Like so.
Yeah. I mean, it made sense. Otherwise, we would have seen the 4th by now. So you can see that ByuN, he's just so... I mean, he was a 2-base all-in earlier, and he's so committed. He's so aggressive here, trying desperately to keep himself afloat. This also shows us that if ByuN ever loses this 4th, it's going to be so difficult to replace.
Insanely difficult, yeah. And considering that one, it is going to be an orbital command, it also means that he's going to be a little bit more vulnerable to losing it. DRG saying just outside of scan, and just like that, is able to catch ByuN completely unsieged. Oh, these are some very powerful Marines, though. 2-2 did finish up a while ago, and yeah, DRG very far off creep. good pickups on the tanks, but overall, I think ByuN might have traded a little bit more efficiently.
Yeah, that was a really awkward fight. As you mentioned, DRG did almost reset the tank count, but the Marines were left safe and sound, and there were no Banelings left over. But ByuN isn't able to counterattack, so DRG is going to be remaxing here on Ling Bane, and now suddenly there's only 2 tanks to defend. DRG, he can go in again.
Yeah, it's just waiting for the right time. ByuN, of course, is setting himself up a little bit better here, so maybe DRG wants to pivot around. Sense Towers did finish up here, though, so yeah, DRG gonna have a little bit of a harder time harassing ByuN, I think.
Yeah, and it looks like DRG is not going to push in. It looks like this 4th base is going to get up and running, and DRG, he's droning right now. He is only just now getting up to over the 70 worker count, but this Liberator is being so annoying in between these bases, keeping DRG pinned back. And as a result, ByuN, he's still in this. He still has the higher army supply. He's pushing on 40. He may have lost his tanks, but he still has so much men with gun.
148 Marines have gone down this game, and ByuN still somehow has the production to replace them to almost max out on Bio.
Yeah, he really is almost there. Meanwhile, we have 4 tanks to support this as well. DRG, do we really commit into this? I don't think we can.
Yeah, not upper ramp, not with 2 tanks there. ByuN coming in from the side as well for that full concave. He's diving pretty deep into creep. A couple of Vipers are out, but they do not have energy yet. Target firing from ByuN once again, making sure that the Banelings are unable to connect. Not that many Banelings left, and they do start to go down. Huge fungal growth though on the medevacs with the Marines. And it looks like that may just be enough to keep DRG alive. Texas started siege up. The Zerg army's really starting to thin out, and ByuN, with all of these Marines that he kept alive in the medevacs, he is able to continue pushing, but for how much longer? Yeah,
the Infestor count was reset. That was a little bit wasteful there out of DRG. He barely does hold on. He barely does clean up all those tanks, but the Marine army is still looking very strong, very powerful. DRG, he needs time, and thankfully the creep here is good enough to buy himself some of that time. Banelings are finishing, and we have 3 Infestors on the way. Because of the recent patch, these Infestors, they will spawn in with enough energy for 1 Fungal Leech.
Yeah, Fungal Leech?
Yeah.
That should be an ability if it just saps the health and gives it to nearby Zerg units.
Yeah, so we're going for a big link counterattack, but we have reinforcements back at home. ByuN, he does hold on, but this actually drags away some of his army, and meanwhile the tanks are left exposed.
Yeah, tanks will get taken out. A couple of Marines as well. ByuN, once again, with the hot pickup, will be keeping the majority of his Marines alive, and once again, still has the higher army count.
Does have that higher army supply, but it's so fragile as well. Meanwhile, you have some borrowed Infestors getting ready for some of those fungal growths as well from behind. So let's see if we can maybe get some good connections, but the tanks are in position, and this is a brutal position as well. We have the high ground. ByuN, he's going to be threatening this 5th base. 6th base.
Yeah, Viper super exposed, but it will be able to throw down a blinding cloud, and as well as an abduct. We'll be taking these tanks out of commission, but once again, ByuN, I mean, he's about to have +3 weapons. 2-2 Marines will always beat 2-2 Ling Bane of similar supplies. GG is called, and ByuN, unrelenting. That was a 15-minute long 2-base all-in, something like that, coming out from ByuN. Will take game number 1 of this qualifying match. Best of 5. He made 57 SCVs in total that game.
GG, a man after your own heart. ByuN started off with a 2-base all-in, basically a 3-base all-in towards the end there, and yeah, just kept the pressure up. We also saw, just because of his control, he traded so damn efficiently there, and DRG just barely wasn't able to hold on. But it was close because, I mean, he was treading water for quite some time. It kind of went the distance. It went, down to the last there for both DRG and ByuN.
Yeah, DRG made about twice the number of workers that ByuN did that game. My man, ByuN.
Let's go. You don't need 60 SCVs, okay? The mules spy for the mules. That's all you need, clearly.
Yeah. Start, getting those workers out the SCV suits, give them a gun, and get more men with gun.
Yeah.
That's what you want. That's what you want.
That's
Men with drill? No. Man with gun.
The man with gun is all you need, all you want there. And with that, ByuN does take the first game. Now, what's important here is not just that this is a best of 5, so plenty of games are ahead of us, but that was not the easiest of games from ByuN. It was quite close. It was quite back and forth. And really, that's all I want.
Oh, yeah. That's what I want. I want this qualifying match to last longer than literally the rest of the tournament. Anyway, we are here now on Site Delta, continuing our best of 5. We're over here in the top left-hand corner map, spawning all the way. In the top left-hand corner, we have our red Zerg player coming down from the land of Korea once again, representing himself, but still showing love to Clan NV. We have our one true dong, DRG.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the player currently leading the series 1-0, representing Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN.
I think you bring up a pretty good point there of just how close game number 1 really was. I think a lot of a lesser player would have probably faltered and would have probably buckled after the initial wave of like just mass Reapers and Marines with 1 or 2 tanks coming out from ByuN, but not DRG. He was able to keep himself alive for much, much longer. Not alive enough to end up winning that game. He was still very much behind when it came to things like upgrades and whatnot. He was still contained on 3 bases for a very, very long time, but he was able to take the fight to ByuN. He was able to make ByuN sweat a little bit and force him to work for that win.
I was sweating, mate. It was intense. It's crazy. But we're getting into game number 2, and I love this out of ByuN because he is known for his 2-Rex Reaper, and that is not what he's going for this game. This is a CC first out of ByuN, and this is something that he does mix in, which I think is really good because he's playing with his reputation, going for a very gritty opener, and because of his reputation, Zerg players don't go for gas-based openers against him. They don't go for roach rushes, not anymore. You know this. Dark found that out the hard way. So ByuN, he can get away with this without being punished.
He absolutely can. Even on a map like Site Delta, which has a very, very short rush distance.
Oh, exactly.
That's how much ByuN really is flaunting. Is that the word? His reputation? Flouting?
Flatting? Flexing?
Flexing? Yeah, flexing works, I guess.
Floundering?
He's flat?
As behind this...
Oh, no, that means something else.
He's not flatline. He's doing anything but flatlining here because he's going CC first into a 4-Axe, by the way. A very aggressive follow-up. So we start off with the greed, and we follow it up with the aggression here, as we're going to be hitting a very strong timing with Stim, a very strong timing without Medivacs.
Yep. And, I mean, we were mentioning how short of a rush distance we have here on Site Delta. It is terrifying to go CC first if your Zerg opponent decides to go for a bit of an early Ling Flood, but, you know, on the opposite side of that, it does also make these Marine rushes with Stim that much deadlier. They do hit that much quicker.
They do. As the other interesting thing about this map is that there is a ramp leading into the natural, and of course the rush distance by ground isn't as short as like Oceanborn or Golden Aura, for example, but like you can still be quite aggressive here. Because of this ramp, this does mean that DRG has a bit of a defender's advantage available to him, but he still needs to get a read on what's going on. With this Link Scout, he is going to confirm that it is not a 1-1-1. He's going to see the lack of Hellions, which is some information, but he may think this is a 2-on-1, right? It's like only Marines. This could still be a couple of different builds.
Yeah. At the very least, you know, he does scout that there is no Reaper. So that's a bit of a tell, but at the same time, you know, if there is no Reaper, what are you using that early gas for? Typically for a bit of a quicker factory or something like that.
Yeah, faster factory, faster starport to get into medevac production. So essentially, to defend this, DRG has to amass links. He needs to cut workers a little bit earlier than normal and amass a mass amount of links here. Otherwise, he would be in a lot of trouble. Now, the goal for ByuN, this is not an all-in. This is designed to cripple your opponent, not necessarily kill. I mean, it can kill if DRG is caught off guard, but it's designed to cripple and then get into a longer game. We have the factory on the way, soon a starport, and then a third CC, as ByuN is soon going to push out.
We assume a third CC.
Yeah, see.
He's on 4 axes, so, you know, but, yeah. You can technically still get away with this on 2 axes. DRG does scout ahead, does confirm that's a massive amount of Marines on the way, so Yeah, he's gonna have to scramble for some kind of defense. Now, ByuN, because he skipped out on his Reaper, actually doesn't have eyes on that third base. I'm sure that's where he would want to go for if he did have eyes on that, but instead he's going up the ramp. Gonna try to take out this Baneling nest, I assume?
The queens?
No, going straight for the queens.
Yeah, one queen does go down. He does wedge himself here in the ramp as well, reducing that surface area. The Lings are coming out. It looks like we will trade the Lings for the Marines, and ByuN is going to get cleaned up here. What did he really trade with, though? He traded almost 1-for-1 with the Lings, and he only got one queen. Not the best dive out of ByuN.
Yeah, absolutely not. Again, had no eyes on that third base, so... Yeah, he took a little bit of a risk diving straight into the main base, or diving straight to the natural base. But like you said, that's exactly where the Zerg player wants to defend. And as we saw, that's how straightforward it can be to defend as a Zerg player. Just let your Terran opponent move into all of those queens and get a bit of a surround there with your Lings.
Yeah, to be fair, that was quite close for DRG because he actually didn't have his Lings ready for the attack. The Lings, they popped out of the natural in the main base just in time for the surround. So that was actually very close. If those Lings were any later, then the queens would have died. So yeah, in the end, DRG, he holds on, and you can see how like on a knife's edge that build was. You know, if it hit any earlier, then DRG may have died then and there. But he holds, and because he did, he's in a pretty good position as he is double expanding, taking a fourth and a fifth at the same time.
Yeah, might as well, you know. He knows that ByuN spent a lot of supply to trade against all of those Lings earlier on, so he is very, very safe for the time being. Actually getting low, will get cancelled right at the last second.
Does cancel the fifth, but bearing in mind, because we double expanded, one of these bases is going to get up and running. We drop into the main, but the Lings are in position, and ByuN is going to be forced out of said main base. It was good to force a cancel, but we still need some more damage done. Bearing in mind that behind this, we do have a third CC finishing up. Again, we're not all in, and Medivacs have hit the field. ByuN, he's going to be as active as possible. While he expands, he's going to be moving out with a double-pronged attack.
Yeah, very similar to what we saw in game number 1. Except this time, DRG is in a much, much better economic position.
100%.
We'll be able to finish up that 4th base. 5th base is, okay, still on the way.
Still on the way. This time, queens are in position. We dive on top of the queens. Can we transfuse? 1, 2 queens go down. Transfuse is too late. So many queens are falling here. Oh my god.
So energy. There is no energy. Almost every single queen goes down. ByuN will be trading a medevac and 8 of his marines for that, but overall, worthwhile trade here for the Terran player.
Yeah, for 7 queens, that was insane. So very good trades, but meanwhile, the tanks getting caught out here. Good target firing on the Banelings once again. A lot of Banelings going to be going down, but the tanks do get reset.
Yeah, a little bit of an awkward position here for ByuN. Just getting all of his marines surrounded. No! Gotta run.
There's only 1 queen left, and it does survive just barely, as so will the 5th base. So DRG, he's holding. Losing all those queens was brutal, and we are replacing some of them at least. Only a handful, and we barely have... We do have a lot of active creep triggers here. Thankfully, we are respawning that creep. 3rd base is slowly getting up and running, but ByuN is going for a double drop here towards the south, looking to go for that 4th.
Just multi-pronging it up. I will say that while DRG does have a better economic position this game compared to game number 1, ByuN also is doing a little better here, I've got to say. I mean, last time, DRG was just perpetually ahead, like 20 workers, something like that, until the eventual attack. This time, not as much.
Yeah, exactly. The differential there in the workers isn't as large as it otherwise once was. Also, he picked up the queen just barely towards the end with that 1 marine. So, very nice moves here out of ByuN, getting as much value as he can, going for a drop into the main. But we have Lings and queens in position. So, DRG, again, he's keeping up. He's kind of taken note of the tempo here of ByuN. He's able to keep up, able to dance to his music. But ByuN is now going to be moving out with a more dedicated push. Now with tanks once again, but he doesn't have too many of them. Still only has 1 with his army.
Yeah, ByuN actually now switching into Widow Mines, which is definitely the right call against Ling Bane without any Hydras or anything like that, but they don't really scale that well as the game continues. He does not have Tunneling Claws yet, so yeah, it's going to be a little tricky to really micro these Widow Mines as well.
Yeah, exactly. Without that upgrade, it's going to take a little bit longer, but regardless, we do see ByuN pushing right through the center, clearing up a lot of this creep, bearing in mind that the queen count was reset earlier. We only have 6 queens on the field, so it's going to take quite a lot to replace that. Meanwhile, at the same time, DRG going for a big counterattack. There is a tank in position, good Sim City, and DRG is forced out.
Tis but a safety tank, but it works out pretty well here for ByuN. DRG pretty dang close to maxing out. ByuN still a little ways off. Hive is now on the way. That's something that DRG was unable to get into in game number 1.
Yeah, he was unable to
actually... Oh no, he did get into it. He did get the Viper, didn't he?
He did make the Vipers. He wasn't able to... Like, he had like 1 blinding cloud, and that's kind of it. Well, he wasn't able to fully make use of that Hive.
Yeah. But I think that's more of what we're getting at here.
Yeah. As we do have a couple of mine shots going to be going off here in the center of the map, but here we go. DRG, he is maxed out. He wants to collapse on this third.
Yeah, he has to collapse on this third. He has to make way. He has to make some supply for some of his spellcasters coming forward, some of his Vipers, some of his infestors. ByuN not in the best position right now, but that's a lot of banelings just going down to the tanks and to the Widow Mines as well. Once again, some really good SimCity and good use of the choke point here from ByuN will allow him to trade decently well against these Banes, but he will be losing just about every single SCV in his third base, in his main base. Double drop coming in for a bit of a little bit of revenge here from ByuN, taking out that hatchery, clearing out creep, and about to clear out a couple of Hydras as well. But all in all, I want to say DRG came out ahead.
Yeah, as DRG, he took a lot of mines to the face there. These Widow Mines even survived. You can see them here, actually. One with 16 kills, the other with 18 kills. These were some juicy mines, big tank connections. ByuN traded surprisingly well, but as you mentioned, DRG still dealt economic damage. ByuN is down to half the worker count of his opponent. Now, to be fair, as we saw in the last game, the worker count doesn't really mean much. Look at the supplies. As the Sub sometimes doesn't lie, ByuN, he is up in army supply. He can still make some magic happen with this army.
Yeah, DRG, it looks like the army supplies are pretty close, but keep in mind DRG has a much more inefficient army.
Exactly, and pretty much with this push, ByuN is committed. Like, he has to trade well, maybe even break one of these bases. He's going to be dropping on the left-hand side, trading well against these Lings, looking to deny that hatchery, but at the same time, DRG comes in! The mines!
Will connect on the majority of these Banes, and yeah, once that's cleared up, ByuN doesn't really have that much to worry about. He does seem to be worried about a handful of Banelings left, but reinforcements for DRG are good enough to start clearing things out. This Overseer is so low, but it still survives, so yeah, DRG is able to clean out the rest of those mines.
There we go, and with that, DRG, he's securing his position in this game. Cleaning up all of his mines was, in a way, his win condition, resetting the factory count or the factory units of his opponent. There are still Marines remaining, but DRG, he is sitting comfortably here on a 5-base setup. He's remaxing, and ByuN doesn't have the economy to remax as he floats over his main.
Yeah, once again, this does get scouted immediately by DRG, so yeah, he knows exactly how to deal with this as well. He knows exactly the position he's in, the position his opponent's in. He knows positions, you know?
Yeah, in the last game, ByuN, he may have lifted and landed his main, but at that stage, he was taking his 4th base on time. He had a good economy, he had a good army. This game, this is more of a desperation move here from ByuN. He has to desperately try to get this up and running. He does have a good army, and the creep is lacking. We mentioned before that because of all the dead queens, we have yet to spread any creep in the center of the map. But DRG, he can split up his army himself, and he's going to be threatening this 4th base.
Just like so. Not that many Hydras, so yeah, this CC should be able to float to safety, but this lost mining time is really hurting ByuN.
It is, and ByuN, his entire army comes back to defend. He just didn't have enough to split and to attack and defend at the same time, and DRG is remaxing. He's got Vipers this time with blinding clouds with parasitic bombs. One final fight here is being set up, and again, to be fair, ByuN, he can win a fight, but after that he has to push out because his opponent will be able to remax and ByuN cannot.
And remax with better units, I might add. That was, I think, the one thing missing from DRG is that despite having the Hive, he was still using mostly just a Lingbane army with a couple of Hydras to support, but now he has Vipers, now he's getting an Ultra Cavern, and ByuN will not have an answer to that. All of these SCVs are going down. At this point, it's pulled a voice.
They have May as well, but into Bailey's is so difficult as they get pulled to the 4th base, but there's more Lingbane waiting for the army here as well. As ByuN is being pulled apart, GG gets called, and DRG ties up the series 1-1.
It just goes to show you just how much the balance can swing, depending on whether or not the Terran player is able to get early game damage. GG, very nicely done here for DRG, defending beautifully in the early game, and then, yeah, just having a path to victory laid out for him very clearly for the rest of the game.
100% here, as in this game number 2, damage was being done, but not the damage that we really needed, right? Winding it back, the first 4x push killed 1 queen. I mean, that was a bit of a failed push out of ByuN, a little bit of an overextension. After that, he did reset the queen count, which was good, and he was able to cancel the 5th base, if you remember, when we had the double expansion going on, but we didn't really deal any economic damage. No economic damage was done, and we didn't kill any Evo chambers like we did previously, so we couldn't stifle the upgrades either. So this game, DRG was more in control. He had a much more stable mid-game, and we saw him eventually snowball out of control.
Oh, yeah. Just trying to connect that to control once again, but I think he has retired, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, but yeah, regardless, we got to see more of a back and forth. We're tied up 1-1, and this is still best of 5, still plenty of games ahead of us.
Indeed, there are. This is where you want to be right now. As we continue our series now, moving on to our third map of this best of 5 series. Here we are now on Hikate. Over here, the top right-hand corner map, sweating all the way in that top right-hand corner. We have our red Zerg player coming down from the land of Korea, representing himself as he is currently teamless. Everybody give it up for our one true dong, DRG.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, once again going for the low ground Araxes, we have the South Korean Terran player representing Shopify Rebellion being forced into a tied-up series. It is ByuN.
Doing what ByuN does best this time.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't want to fault the opener of ByuN in the last game. I think it was a good build overall, don't get me wrong.
I will.
It's just unfortunate that, you know, he dove the way that he did. I think he brought up another big point where he wasn't fully aware of where the third base was, so instead of trying to punish the third, he just went straight for the natural. A very committed move that unfortunately didn't really pay for itself in the end. So instead, you know, ByuN going for the 2 Raxes for the first time this series, I guess, because if you remember, game 1, it was a 3 Rax.
Yeah, it was a 3 Rax Reaper coming up from ByuN in game number 1 at that, so absolutely insane. This time he is delaying his CC a little bit longer as well, so we'll see what's to come.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on him as the Deeper is going to finish up, and we should be seeing the natural base momentarily as well. So, yeah, pretty interesting, actually, now that I think about it. Game 1, ByuN went for a 3 Rax. Game 2, he went for a 4 Rax, and here in Game 3, 2 Rax. Like, he has been mixing it up.
Oh, okay.
We're just a different amount, so we're not going up, okay? Calm down, calm down.
Rax goes up, Rax goes down. Can't explain that.
You can't explain it. You can't explain it. There's a CC on the occasion. So, yeah, ByuN going for a much safer opener here compared to what we've seen previously. Much more tame. But with this double Rax opener, once again, we should be looking to contain DRG and delay that third.
Yeah, slowly but surely. ByuN once again with impeccable control. Just keeping the Zerg player at bay. Even times out that grenade just as his queen pops out. I don't think that was timed actually, but you know, it's nice how it pans out.
Yeah, I would like to be. It was timed. It was all planned, all calculated.
It was timed
here.
right, so it was perfectly timed.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. As here we go. We go for the queen as well. Gets quite a amount of damage done on it, down to half HP. Not enough to really commit though, as we do see ByuN backing off, pivoting away. Only 3 Reapers. So we are transitioning, and there it is, straight into a third CC, so a much more economic opener this time out of ByuN.
Yeah, something a bit more standard, something a bit more sane. Not from him.
Oh,
Not going to be as aggressive as the series goes on. He gets not just the first tumor, but the first 2 tumors.
mate.
At this point, you just got to give him the map.
That's actually crazy. He got both tumors. He avoids the Lings. Ling speed finishes up, but we don't really have too many of them, so DRG cannot actually contest this. Third base is now being taken a lot faster than we've seen previously because it's only 3 Reapers. But as you mentioned, killing 2 tumors already. Oh my god, calm down. He wants the others.
Without losing the Reapers, yeah.
Yeah. He wants them.
Oh, you know he's going to get him.
Oh my god. I mean, DRG, he was about to throw them down, so he backs off once again. More Lings are on the way. Behind this, ByuN getting into his 3cc 2-on-1 setup here from ByuN. Stim is on the way. The add-on is a bit exposed, but because he has map control, Stim should be able to finish.
Yeah. He has a map control, so those add-ons can afford to be exposed. You could see ByuN for a very brief second dived in with the Reapers, saw the tumors,
Yeah.
but then saw how much health they had, and I was like, 4 queens, yeah.
He's gonna
He's
respect.
content with just getting the first 2.
Yeah. I mean, that's already an amazing amount of damage. You know, he only wants 2 tumors, doesn't want 4. Okay, he's being content. He's calming things down. This
He's not being greedy here.
Not yet, but I was about to point out, this is interesting. No add-on swap. Instead of going for the reactor and Medivacs, we have been reactoring out Hellions. So even though it is an economic opener, we have an aggressive follow-up here because, mate, that's an armory.
That it is. Hellions continue to get pumped out. Hellions with Marines is something that isn't too unheard of. Or rather, Hellbat, sorry, with Marines is something that isn't too unheard of as an opening. But plus this additional Reaper support with the KD8 charges, how does DRG defend?
Yeah, I mean,
Queens?
DRG, he's scouting with his Lings. He does see the move out. He's not fully aware of what's coming his way. Thankfully, we have safety Bailings. He went for a safety Bailing nest. With these Bailings, he should be able to hold on. A big shoot on that one, though. We all know how good the target firing can be from ByuN. The Queens move forward, and ByuN, he sees the Bailings. He backs off.
Yeah, does not want to risk this just yet. Second medevac is now up and running. ByuN has a couple of options here. He could try to go for a multi-prong, or he could just try to go for a big frontal assault and rely a lot on his Reaper control and his positioning of Marines and Hellbats.
Exactly. Instead, he's going to be rotating around. He's just focusing on clearing up some creep. He's going for the Queen as well. And the Ling Bane is forced to engage. It looks like we should be able to clean this up here. Decent connections. The Hellbats, one of them does escape.
Just like so. It's getting a decently efficient trade here coming out from ByuN, but with all these queens alive, I don't think he really put enough of a dent in the armor of DRG to continue committing. I say that, but he unloads and gets a queen pretty much for nothing, so...
Not a bad pick-off there from ByuN. He does get a queen. Behind this is going to be landing his 3rd CC on location, building up his forces. But what's important is that he wasn't able to touch the economy. And DRG, he's up to 3 base saturation, working on a 4th and 5th. He's double expanding like we saw previously, looking to stabilize here and settle into the mid-game.
Yeah, I think DRG has kind of recognized that as long as he's able to make it into the mid-game, as long as he is able to get to that point of economic stability, he should be at a bit of an advantage here moving forward. Again, it also depends a bit on how ByuN plays, but considering this is ByuN we're talking about, I think he does just want to continue to be... I think he just does want to continue playing aggressive, and it's up to DRG to just defend and have enough left over to punish it.
Yeah, it definitely is. Here we go. We have a triple jump on the left-hand side. The Hellbat's getting cleaned up. A couple of Marines will escape as well, but we do defend. We shut down the Medivacs on the right. DRG, he is holding. He protects both his 4th and his 5th. And as you mentioned, this series so far, ByuN has been very kind of all in, right? Like, he's been very aggressive, borderline all in Game 1 and in Game 2. But here in Game 3, we got a faster third CC, and that is a 4th base for the first time this series.
No. I almost don't believe it. Yeah, I saw the 8 Raxus on the way coming up from ByuN, and I thought, yes, he's just gonna be bricking again. Is the colloquial term, I believe, where he just wants to max out as quickly as possible on Marines, Medevacs, and Mines. But Yeah, no, that's the fourth base. A couple of really good connections here. A couple of really good Baneling connections here for DRG will cripple this top left-hand harassment of ByuN.
Yeah, really big connections. You can see that ByuN, he focused down half of the Banelings, but the other half connected. And now DRG, he's in a much better position. You can see that reflected in the supplies. The pressure is on ByuN right now to get some economic damage done, because DRG, he's droned up to 80. That is the kind of ideal worker count. And now he's going to be looking to max out and get up into high tech.
Yeah, going to be trying to go for a few mine drops here. Not a bad idea, but DRG is on top of things. He is able to take out these medevacs, take out these mines as well before they deal any major damage.
Yeah, exactly. The mine drop has been dealt with. We do have a committed triple drop on the left-hand side, but we have Lingbane waiting. Not too much creep here, so there's potential for ByuN. But DRG, the mine!
Will not connect. Will get scouted by the Overseer and taken out by a couple of Hydras. ByuN once again forced to retreat, forced to reconsider how he really wants to approach this.
Yeah, he's going to back off for a moment, getting into Drilling Claws. Now going to be taking his fourth base on location, is floating over, 2-2 on the way. And DRG has a bit of a late hive, is what I will say. This infestation bit is typically thrown down earlier, so it is delayed. So DRG is going to be stuck on lair tech a little bit longer. That is a good thing for ByuN, by the way. So he doesn't have to worry about like potentially ultras or 3-3 anytime soon. It's still a ways off.
Yeah, as 2-2 is about to finish for both of our players, but again, against Lingbane, that can only be good. That can only be better for the Terran player.
Yeah, exactly. As they're pushing onto Creep. Creep is being cleaned up at the same time, though. DRG going for a big counterattack.
A couple of Marines going to be eating Banelings to the face, just like so. Wouldn't mind not quite able to burrow. Banelings are quite able to connect with these SCVs.
Yeah, big connections here. Every single worker is going to be going down. The Hydras, they try to evacuate the Banelings. They're not done. They go for the fourth, and that's not a planetary. That's an orbital.
These SCVs will continue to connect. We're at 93 drones versus 43 SCVs at the moment. That's a hell of a lot of economic damage. GG is called.
Yeah.
Okay, GG is called. DRG will be moving on to match point here, as ByuN, yeah, just doesn't want to fight from that position. He still had a decent army, which is what surprised me, but I guess he saw the writing on the wall.
GG. DRG, he crippled the economy. As you mentioned, we have seen ByuN try to fight back from that position before, which is why I also assumed that he was going to try and like squeeze out as much as he could out of that army. But because of Hecate, because of how large it is, because of how widespread it is, he believed that he could not fight back from that position, and DRG is one game away from qualifying, from getting that Katowice ticket.
Indeed, he is. Yeah, I guess ByuN also was forced to pull his army back from the middle of the map, so yeah, that's another reason why he didn't just want to go across from there. I think if he committed to a base trade, we might see the game still continuing to carry on, but yeah, in that moment, it can be difficult to really see what's the best way forward in the game, and so ByuN made a decision, which unfortunately cost him the map, and like you were mentioning, DRG is now one map away from getting that plane ticket.
Yeah, exactly. And even that last game, DRG was up in army supplies, so even then there was no secure way for ByuN to, I mean, it would have been a gamble if he to try to go for a doom drop. Regardless, now we're getting to our next game. We're going to be loading into Golden Aura here for potentially the final game. The pressure is on our Terran to tie it up.
That it is. Here we are now, spawning in to Golden Aura. Over here in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, spawning all the way. In the bottom right-hand, we of course have our red Zerg player, one map away from qualifying for IEM Katowice 2024. ESL Pro Tour 2023/24. We have, representing himself as he is currently teamless, but I'm willing to bet not for long. After tonight, we have DRG.
And spawning at the top left-hand corner, we have the South Korean Terran player representing Shopify Rebellion up against the wall. He needs to win this game to force Game 5. It is ByuN.
very much up against the wall here.
And again, it's one of those things that you just mentioned. DRG so close. He drew down Classic and potentially ByuN, and he's still teamless. Like, come on, guys. Like,
Come on.
he deserves to get some support. And again, that's why it's so important that he gets that Katowice. That's why it's so important that he does make it that far, so he can get eyes on him, he can get attention, and maybe get a team to pick him up. So we'll see if he can get there. Meanwhile, ByuN going for another 2-racks. Now, there's a lot of potential. I wouldn't be surprised if this does go to the ace match, because Golden Aura is a very good map for aggression, just because the rush distance by ground is quite short on this map. And if we did want to brick or 8 racks, this would be a good map for it.
Really is. Like, got a little bit, yeah. Really would be a great map for those ground pushes, those parade pushes with just mass marine. Third Rax is now about to finish up here for ByuN, as he, hasn't quite thrown down another CC yet, so potentially a repeat of game number 1. I just got distracted for a very brief moment looking at the minimap, because I just realized the overlay looks like a probe. Or a sentry.
Yeah, I can see it. I can see what you're seeing there, as the Reaper has arrived. As you mentioned, this is the same opener that we saw in game number 1. Just like game 1, this is not all in by any means. This is designed to contain the opponent, to contain them to 2 bases, threaten those queens, threaten those drones, and eventually expand and transition out of this. But here we go, the Reaper is going to be trying to find some damage, still not quite getting a drone yet.
Yeah, not yet. As ByuN, will just retreat a little bit with his Reapers, once again doing that little juggling thing where he is just getting a bit of high ground vision here and there. Lings will not be knocked down, unfortunately.
But good trades here nonetheless on the Lings. A lot of them do get picked off. We do try to dive on top of the Queen as well, forcing it back. Getting very low. Behind this ByuN, he's expanding, working on that natural base. And the Reapers, they do pick off 1 drone.
Just like so, almost gets a queen, but not quite. Not yet, anyway, as ByuN, there we go, natural base is now underway. eBay on the way before the factory as well, so yeah, very, very, very much what we saw in game number 1.
Oh yeah, same build, and just like that last game, we could even end up into a kind of a 2-base all-in scenario from ByuN if he does delay his 3rd base, as long as he did in that previous game. For now, he's just trying to delay this 3rd. He gets eyes on it, and his goal here is to try to punish this 3rd hatchery.
Yeah, he's got enough Reapers, and this hatch is low enough that it will be forced to cancel.
Again, that's the power of 3-racks Reaper, is that it takes so much effort to try to get the space up and running. These queens are even off of creep. They cannot transfuse. We could try to pick them up, but link speed is done, and DRG is looking for a surround.
Yeah, just waiting for the opportune moment to really punish these, Reapers right as they are backed into a corner when they're unable to really escape.
Yeah, basically if the Reapers ever push up the ramp, and here we go, the Lings are trying to come in from behind again, looking for that surround, but ByuN, he's wise to it. He does pull back.
Like so. And with that, that's just about going to be the end of the opening here. ByuN now transitioning to Mass Marine. Slowly but surely getting the rest of his production buildings, eventually going to swap around those add-ons from the factory to just get a couple of reacted medevacs. I didn't notice this, but DRG actually delayed his mailing nest by quite some time this game.
Yeah, he did delay it. Is going Bailey Nest first, though. Bear that in mind. So very safe opener here from DRG. In case there was like something like a Hellbat push like we saw previously, then DRG would be ready for it. From here, we should be going for a lair. The lair is late, but don't really good.
Yes, rounding off the rest of his drones, I guess. It's now up to 47, which is not too bad for the early game, about where you want to stop as you work on your mid-game transition. They're now on the way. A couple of Banelings are being morphed in.
Yeah, this is a bit of a preemptive attack by ByuN. This is before Medevacs, by the way, so an earlier push from our Terran player, hoping to try to catch DRG off guard, but DRG, he's able to push this back, respread that creep. He has Lings and Banelings in position. ByuN once again trying to focus down those tumors.
Oh. And he got him.
Did get 2 of them there. Meanwhile, he's backing off, and now he's going to be reinforcing with those medevacs. Again, still no third CC, still committed on a 3-1-1 setup. And once again, he pushes on forward. Once again, he killed 2 more tumors.
Always 2. Never more, never less.
Exactly, as here we go, he's reinforcing here. Again, the lair just now finishing up 1-1 on the way for DRG. This time these upgrades should finish. Unlike Oceanborn, they're not exposed. Oh, but the queens! Up!
The queens, however, are quite exposed, and that queen in the red will survive, will get transfused. Man, so close.
Up! Oh, so close, but there we go. Finally, 2 more queens get picked off. Good target firing on one of those medevacs. The Baileys will connect. There's not enough room in the medevacs, and ByuN is going to be forced back, losing a medevac full of marines. Not a bad defense here by DRG. Did lose some queens, but he is getting his 4th on the way.
Yeah, slowly but surely. ByuN once again continuing to keep this pressure on, going up to 5 Raxes. Still no third CC yet.
Yeah. This does confirm the 2 base all in here from ByuN. Like we saw previously, he can still eventually take a 3rd, but he has to trade. He has to get damage done here. He has to try to break on forward, and here we go. 2 tanks are getting repositioned. DRG taking up into a Hydra, and a bit of a greedy choice here from DRG. We need Ling Bane here and now.
Yeah, DRG might have gotten a bit of an off read off this situation. Might have thought that he's actually safer than he is.
Yeah, exactly. As gas guys are going down, denying gas mining. DRG looks like he wants to try to catch some reinforcements. He's waiting a little bit longer. 1-1 is on the horizon. It looks like he wants to maybe wait for that. No, he's pulling the trigger now.
Almost feels like he has to. A lot of these Reapers in the front will be soaking up a lot of damage here on the Banelings, and that's the entirety of the Ling Bane decimated here for DRG. ByuN could be marching forward with ease, but what can he realistically get done?
I mean, that may just be it, by the way, because that was all the Ling Bane. Really good target firing out of ByuN. The hatchery is under threat. The queens are trying to hold on here. That hatchery getting so low. Another queen goes down. DRG trying to squeeze out as much as he can, and the base will fall.
Just like so. All of a sudden, things are still looking good for ByuN. Once again, ByuN is completely all in. No third base anywhere, so he does still need to get 1 more base. He does still need to get a little bit more damage done, but with the fall of that 3rd, I think ByuN is just going to have a much easier time for the rest of this game.
He really will, as once again he's getting some of the queens. Queens are falling left and right. Hydras have arrived, but is that really going to be enough? We're going to try and collapse on these tanks once again. Oh, the target firing.
Still as insane as ever. DRG does not have enough links to really buffer for all of these Banelings, and honestly at this point, not enough links to buffer for the Hydras either.
Yeah, DRG is investing into Hydra speed as well. Like these investments, he got Hydra range as well. These upgrades are not really going to help out here in the defense. We need more Ling Bane. Ling Bane is what's going to be able to deal with this, and it's not going to happen. The spread is too good. ByuN, he should be able to focus down, is forced to pick up, but he can keep pushing.
Yeah, way too many Marines are still alive here for ByuN. DRG just won't be able to stop this. Slowly but surely. Well, I say slowly but surely, but very quickly escalating towards the end there. We are going to have our ace match as ByuN ties up our series sideways 2-2.
GG. Again, DRG, he did misread the situation. He did assume that it was going to be a more standard macro game there. Investing into Hydras is not what you want. You need to double down on Ling Bane. Throwing down a Hydra and making Hydras, that is a way to kill yourself against that kind of push, against that kind of all-in. Things that we just cannot afford to invest in, not in that kind of game.
Yeah, not quite. Not when it gets, not when it escalates as quickly as that.
Exactly, and just like that, we're going to the ace match.
Yeah, I was going to say, but it is a good thing for us, because it means that we get to hang around in this series a little bit longer. We get to continue this absolutely insanely close TvZ.
Yeah, and what I love here is that Game 5 is going to be on Alkyone. Now, we've seen hyper-aggression here. We haven't really been able to sink our teeth into the late game, into a split-map scenario, into like 4 base versus 4 base. We got close on Hecate. We got close, but I mean, as ByuN was getting up to his 4 base economy, he died before we could really make use of it. Alkyone, this is the map to really pop off on. This is the map that is known for its late game play.
Absolutely. There's potential for a split map, and yeah, think I think we really have potential to, you know, end this one on a banger.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we do have that potential here. Of course, we could always come out of left field and ByuN just could go for another 3 racks. It's it's possible. It's possible.
Proxy bunker, let's go.
We could commit. So yeah, it's gonna be on ByuN, I feel, to dictate the pace of this game.
Yeah, that's pretty much been the story of this series so far, is that ByuN has been the one who has been going hyper aggressive. DRG has been just, you know, kind of reacting to them. Kind of reacting to the aggression ByuN's been throwing his way, which is how TvZ is supposed to go, you know. So, yeah, very textbook TV. Well, I say textbook, but not with ByuN's openers. Anyway, here we are now on game number 5 to conclude things. We're going to be here on LC1, where we're here in the top right-hand corner of the map, spawning all the way. In the top right-hand, we have our red Zerg player coming out from the land of Korea, representing himself as he is currently teamless. We have our one true dong. We have DRG.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Terran player tying up the series 2-2, forcing the ace match. Representing Shopify Rebellion, it is ByuN.
Low ground barracks, number 1. Are we waiting for low ground barracks number 2, or are we going to be seeing a CC?
Yeah, we should be getting a 2x opener here, but we'll keep our eyes on ByuN. As you were referring to earlier, this map is known for its late game play. This 3rd and 4 base setup is very secure. You can even mine through these middle patches, take the 4th here on the right hand side, and even go for the goal base as well. So yeah, we have seen a lot of late game here on Alkyone, but as you mentioned, really our eyes are on ByuN here to determine how this goes, as this is not a 2x opener. He's going to be going for a racks into factory, actually. Yeah, completely skipping out on his Reaper, going for that CC, all on the low ground, mind you, so which is an interesting choice here coming up from ByuN, but I guess he's banking on just the natural features of this map to keep him safe for the time being. Yeah, so a very different opener. This is the special opener, by the way, going for the factory on the low ground. And this is just a way to cut some corners, to be a little bit greedier. As you mentioned, no Reaper, 1 Marine, straight into add-ons, straight into soon-to-be an add-on swap and Hellion production and all that good stuff. So yeah, ByuN mixing it up entirely here on Alkyone.
Yeah, not what I think any of us were suspecting. Not what I'm sure it's not what DRG expects either.
Yeah, and this usually leads into a 1-1-1 opener. I'm curious if ByuN is going to go for a faster 3rd TC. But yeah, like just a much more passive start here. It means that DRG can actually get his 3rd base up and running. And there it is. There's that starport on the way. So a delayed CC here for ByuN.
The late CC, but still a 1-1-1 with 2 bases nonetheless. Hellion's production has just about started off, and what are we feeling like? Medevac or an add-on swap come down from this from this starport?
I'm feeling a medevac just because like the add-on swap is actually a little bit further back, but we'll see as well. We're going for the add-on swap here. We are going for a Banshee opener. Now, bearing in mind that this is a very committed build, as we just mentioned, there is no 3rd CC, so damage has to be done here. Whether it's Hellions or Banshees, we do need to get some worker kills to actually make this worth it.
Yeah, it's a bit of a costly commitment going into 4 Hellions. Okay, not that many, but still, getting Banshees, getting Cloak, that's a very, very hefty investment.
Yeah, it really is. And additional Hellions are on the way. Meanwhile, we're going to be bypassing the Queens. We're going straight for the Mineral Lion.
Risky choice coming out here from ByuN, but it looks like it's going to pay off. DRG skipped out a little bit on the safety lanes in the early game, so yeah, ByuN already with these 4 Hellions will be getting 5 we'll be getting 7 drones and a couple of lings as well.
Yes, 7 worker kills is pretty damn good for 4 Hellions. Damage has been done. This has already paid for itself in a way. And when it's not over, because here come those Banshees coming in from the left-hand side, going straight for that mineral line. The Spore is not done.
Yeah, 0 detection for the time being. ByuN is just going to be able to continue to compound these worker kills.
Yeah, exactly. He gets 1 more drone. He gets 2 more drones here. The natural Spore finishes up. Cloak just now finishing up as well for ByuN. But we do have a Spore in every single mineral line. As I say that, the Hellions, they go straight for the 3rd.
Yeah, well, they got to try. As 2 more drones who go down. Hellion just trying to do whatever it can. Not quite able to get those kills, but the Banshee will be shoring it up a little bit. What do we have here? We have 11 drones going down so far this game.
11 workers. And do you know what I see?
A lot of things.
Yeah, there's a lot of things, but there is still no 3rd CC, by the way. This is the beginnings of a 2-base all-in.
Wait. Wait. You see... Wait.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so, yes. I get what you're saying. The 2-base all-in is underway once again for ByuN.
Up!
It's like... With more Raxes, yes. So 5 Rax, 2-base all-in is what we see now.
You're like, it was a trick question, Papi. It's really what you don't see. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, ByuN, he's being hyper aggressive here on Alkione, and DRG, don't throw down a Hydrogen. We need Lingbane to hold on. Economic damage has already been done. DRG's working towards a 4th base, and we'll see if he does take up from here.
Yeah, these Banshees are a red herring. ByuN's trying to force DRG to throw down that Hydroden, but that's the last thing DRG really wants right now. That's something that could potentially kill him here, like it killed him in game number 1. I like this from ByuN. Now he's making Reapers. Get a couple of KDA charges.
Yeah. There you go. We have that 1 Reaper in the mix. Medevacs have arrived. We're going to be hunting down Overlords. DRG is getting up to 4 bases. Double Eva Chamber for double upgrades. He has drawn up to 3 base saturation at 65. We're going to be cutting workers here, which is a good place to cut workers, by the way. So DRG should be able to deflect this first push. We'll see what ByuN loses. We'll see how hard ByuN does commit, as he only has 1 tank.
Yeah, so definitely not an army that has a lot of staying power with it. Not really something that you really want to establish a foothold at. Second wave is on the way though, and that will be bringing another tank with it.
Yeah, and we've seen how much magic ByuN can make with 2 tanks. Like, it's been insane what he can accomplish with his target firing, with his control. So we'll see if he can pull this off once again. What I will say is that these tanks aren't anywhere near in as good of a position, but there we go. We're breaking through the rocks and we're moving over towards the right-hand side on the other side of these mineral patches.
And this is a good place to position the tanks. Not if they don't have Marines to support. Okay. Whew. Don't worry there for a second, but yeah, ByuN will be able to position these tanks well enough that they should be safe. A couple of Marines moving forward just to harass a little bit, try to force some units into tank range.
Up!
You know, it's pretty standard Marine tank behavior, as 1 Queen will go down, another Queen gets badly bruised, but we'll stay alive for now.
Yeah, exactly. So good pickups here by ByuN. Again, there's a very narrow choke point leading into these tanks. DRG, he was trying to go for a counterattack, but again, his opponent's 2-base all in. There's nothing to counterattack as ByuN is pushing out with another double drop. I'm still concerned. Again, look, DRG, he's looking for a 3rd base, but there is none.
Yeah, you don't need a 3rd.
Up!
All you need is to brick. Good target firing once again on top of these Banelings. These Marines are in a really good choke point. There's a lot of Lings, so ByuN will be losing a lot of units there, or losing a couple of units there as well, but while this is all going on, ByuN is going for his multi-prong, loses a medevac full of Marines, but will be pushing into this 3rd base location, will be taking out that hatchery, and yeah, we'll be taking out another hatchery by the looks of things.
Yeah, ByuN, he's snowballing out of control. He gets every single Queen. He's pulling DRG apart, and his armies across the map doing nothing, by the way. We needed it back at home. Overlords are falling as well, and ByuN, he's snowballing out of control, getting into the middle line, getting another 14 workers. Meanwhile, DRG busts into the natural.
Yeah, honestly, it's a pretty good army here for DRG, but it's just not in position. He busts on through to the natural base, and yeah, he's going to try to force a bit of a base trade here, which he might be able to do, but in that scenario, yeah, all ByuN really needs to do is come back home. He there's no way DRG will be able to win a base trade. GG is called, and ByuN will be taking that series 3-2. Will be qualifying for IEM Katowice.
GG. We can't hear it. Discord is too good. It's I don't know if you have like noise canceling or something in Discord, but yeah, we can't.
Oh, so sad.
Regardless, GG, well played. Congratulations to ByuN against snowballing out of control. As we saw in the previous game, this was a 2-base all-in out of ByuN, and DRG did misread the situation. He assumed it was going to be a longer game. That's why he was going for these counterattacks, when really all he needed was to defend back at home. He just had to hold on to his third, not even his fourth, but just hold on to 3 bases. DRG just caught with his pants down, again, not aware as to what was happening, and ByuN was able to sneak out that win. GG.
Just like so. Once again, if you'll notice, these games that ByuN has been winning, he never made more than 60 workers. Never made more than 58 workers.
True.
As a matter of fact.
Yeah. Very aggressive, very all-in styles here out of ByuN. With that, ByuN will qualify. He will get his plane ticket to IEM Katowice. Meanwhile, DRG is still in this tournament. He gets knocked down to the lower bracket, and we are going to be following him to that lower bracket.
Indeed, where he already has an opponent, I believe. Yep, he should already have an opponent waiting for him here. I'm trying to figure out the math on this one. I believe he will be facing... Yep, he will be facing Cyan in a bit of a ZVP here.
Ooh, oh my, Cyan, we have some updates.
We have a lot of updates, yeah.
What's been happening? That was a long series.
Yeah.